How did the Gita Champions go? Is it okay? So there were different age groups and everyone got a chance? Thank you. Chapter 7, was it chapter 7? Did you have to do the whole thing? You'd pick parts of it. Nice. We'll keep practicing chapter 7 till we know the whole thing, forwards and backwards, okay? Say yes. Always just say yes, because humans can do practically anything if you just try. Let's sing a little bit to start with. We'll sing a tune that you've heard before, but we haven't sung it a lot. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare
Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Rama. Everybody now. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Okay. Now we have to do the 7th chapter backwards. Is everybody ready? Yes. Without the screen? Yeah? Ready? You got it? Oh. Om Tat Saditi Srimad Bhagavad Gita Supanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastri Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade. Huh? Gyan Vigyan Yoga Nama Shaptamodhyayaha Sadi Bhutadi Daivam Sadiyagyam Chayevadu Prayanakali Pichamam Tevadur Yukta Chetasaha Jara Marana Mokshaya Mama Shrita Yatantiye Te Brahma Tadvidu Kritsnam Adhyatmam Karma Chakilam. If you don't know it, you can look on your smartphone. Yesham Twantakatam Papam Jananam Punya Karmanam Te Dvanva Mohanir Mukta Vajantimam Tradavrata. Not up there though. You can't put it on the screen. Icha Dvesha Samutena Dvanva Mohena Bharata Sarva Bhutani Sammoham Sargayanti Parantapa Vedaham Samatitani Vartamanani Charjuna Vavishani Chabhutani Mamtu Vedana Kashana Naham Prakasha Sarvasya Yogamaya Samavrita Mudoyam Nabijananti Lokomam Vajam Avyayam Avyaktim Vyaktimapanam Manyate Mama Budhaya Param Brahm To Mamavyayam Anutamam Tesham Tadbhavatyalpamedasam Devan Deva Yajo Yanti Madbhakta Yanti Mamapi Sataya Shariya Yuktas Tasya Ardanam Ihate Labate Cha Tata Kaman Mayaiva Vihitan Hitan Yo Yo Yam Yam Tadum Bhakta Shadayarchitam Ichati Tasya Tasya Chalam Shadham Tameva Viridham Yaham Kamas Vita Tam Tam Niyamamastaya Prakritya Niyatasvaya Bahunam Janmanam Mante Gyadavamam Prapadyate Vasudeva Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sadurlabha Udarak Sarva Evaite Gyani Tatvaima Vevatam Astita Sahi Yuktatma Mamevam Utamam Gatim Tesham Gyani Nitya Yukta Eka Bhaktir Vishishyate Priyohi Gyani Notyartam aham sacha mama priya. Chaturvida bhajante mam jana sukritino arjuna artho jignasa artarti Gyani cha paratarshava namam duskritinu mudha prapadyante dhamma maya aprita jnana asuram bhavamasritaha Vahyesha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya mameva ye prapadyante maya me tam tarantite Tribir gunamayer bhavir ebe sarvam vidam jagat mohitam na bijanati mamebhya paramavyayam he chaiva sattvika bhava rajasastamasaschaye mate eveti tanvidhi natvaham teshu te mayi balam balamatam chaham Kamaraga vivarjitam dharma virodo bhuteshu kamosmi bharatarshava bijamam sarvabhutanam biti partha sanatanam buddhir buddhiman tamasmi tejas tejas vinamaham punyaganda prativyam cha tejas chasmi vivabhaso Jivanam sarva bhuteshu tapas chasmi tapasvishu rasoham apsakonteya prabhasmi shashishuryayo pranavak sarva vedeshu shabda ke parusham drishu matak paratanam nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya mai sarvam idam protam Sutre mani gana iva Nibhutani sarvani nityu padaraya Aham krishnasya jagataha pravava pralayastata Apareyam itastanyam prakritam vidimechoram Jiva bhutam mahabaho Yayedam dariyate jagat Dir apu nalovayu kamano bhudirevacha ahankara ityame vinna prakritir ashtada manushyanam sahasreshu kashid yatiti siddhaye yatatam api siddhanam kashimam beti tatvataha Yetham savigyanam idam bhaksham yasheshata yajyatva nihabhuyo nyaj gyatavyam avishishyate Shri Bhagavan uvacha maya sakta manapartha yogam yunchan madashraya asamshrayam samabhagmam Yata gyasya tachrinu Sat tat om. No, sorry. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. It was really nice coming back here after we did our last stay in India. It was nice to be back with everyone, and this feels like such a creative palette we have to work with here, as everyone has a similar enthusiasm for moving forward, and everyone has various skills to use together. It's like a well-tuned orchestra here, and it just is really heartfelt being here. Also, the season was very nice. Autumn. It's turning to winter now. Really different, isn't it? Variety's the spice of life, isn't it? I really liked watching the trees change. I just saw it as the best artistry. And some of the maples had really blood red and marked with yellows that were augmented by the reds. And just all together, even on mornings when I'd go for a walk and I'd see all the leaves on the ground, sometimes there's rows of ginkgos, and they have an abundance of yellow leaves on top. When they change, they turn yellow, and then on the bottom there's a carpet too, and it looks like a reflected surface, taking the yellow down to the ground. And it was also just interesting watching myself and Nirkula recover from the stint in India. Everyone got some kind of upper respiratory thing. I finished it in India, thanks to Chakadola and others for feeding me kara every day. He had a great recipe. And I came home perfectly fine, and then all of a sudden it came back. Something came back again, and went through that. And I was just thinking how amazing the body is. Take on all these different viruses and whatever else attacks it, and it deals with it on its own. I stopped seeing the reaction my body was having to it as being sick, but just kind of marveling at how it does it automatically. So it's such a gift to have a body that repairs itself. And it's a marvel to watch for me in all different ways. And having the last part of Kartik here was also very fulfilling. And now we're going back. Been joking lately that it's our commute. But we're going to first go, was one stopover in Haneda Airport. That's just outside of Tokyo. And then, Krishna willing, we'll catch the next leg on ANA, All Nippon Airways, to Mumbai. No, to Delhi. And we have to get down in Delhi in the middle of the night, and then the next morning we'll catch a flight to Mumbai. We're going to the Jew temple. We're supposed to do a book distribution seminar, take the devotees out. The last time I was there, Bhima Prabhu, who's a godbrother, he also has a large stature, he's tall. And the two of us are of similar age, and the devotees there sometimes go out to the intersections and distribute books at intersections. That's a grueling job, considering there are hundreds of cars idling there all day. But people are rather receptive, and it's kind of interesting to see the devotees bringing transcendental literatures to people's windows. But it's even more interesting when two big, tall Americans walk up to people. They always do a double take. What are you guys doing here? And the devotees, the young brahmacharis there, appreciated seeing two older devotees out there doing that. So in any case, Narottam Priya Prabhu is the leader of the monthly Sankirtan festival there. He told me years ago that he had joined the Krishna consciousness movement for some excitement, and he wasn't getting it. And then he read that book called Our Family Business, and he said, I'm going to try this. And he started a little mini revolution there. In India, it's harder for women to get as much service as they do here, especially in leadership. But when he started his monthly Sankirtan festival, and the ladies could go out full charge and go for Sankirtan, they told me that this was their life and soul, because they also wanted to fully embrace the service and be fully present for it. And Prabhupada had encouraged the ladies so much to go out on Sankirtan, and he really liked it. He liked seeing anybody go out on Sankirtan on book distribution, but he especially encouraged the ladies. And there were so many that were so dedicated to that service, especially Prabhupada stayed in Los Angeles a lot of times, so he had opportunities to interact with them there. He'd give a special attention, ask them what they were telling people, give them suggestions. And keep in mind, Prabhupada used to do that service. He'd go out by himself a lot of times. When you do that, when you go out by yourself for a while, you start, well, it's a different experience, but if you just go out all the time, it shapes your character in a lot of ways. And also, it's not highly recommended to go out by yourself, but if you do end up going out by yourself, sometimes doing devotional service like that once in a while can give you a feeling of being with Krishna. I already told you once I got sent on traveling Sankirtan by myself. And I won't tell that story again, but there were periods of time when I ended up with no partner to go on Sankirtan with, so I just go out myself all the time. Sometimes I have to play tricks on my mind. I remember one particular time when I was to go out on Sankirtan, but my mind didn't want to go. If you've ever had that experience. You want to go, but your mind doesn't want to go. So I tricked my mind, and I loaded the car the night before and said, I'm just doing this as an exercise for someday in the future. And the next day when I got in my car, I was driving to Palo Alto to do Sankirtan there. And my mind said, but you said you're not going out. I said, we're not really going out. I'm just seeing what it would feel like if we were. And then when I parked, I said we, me and my mind. We parked in Palo Alto, and I got out with I had a little trolley that I'd pull along. And he said, what are you bringing that for? I said, I just want to feel what it feels like to bring it around, but we're not going to do anything. I'm not doing anything. And a few minutes later, I had run into this person walking down the street, and I just broke through, and I showed her the Bhagavad Gita, and she was very appreciative. And I told her that it's best to give a donation and then read it, because then you'll value it more. She said, oh, I don't have any cash. And my mind said, see, I told you, you'd be a total failure. And she said, but then her next words were, if there was an ATM, and I looked right behind us and there was an ATM. And she took out a donation. And I thought that oftentimes life is, you have to trudge through even when you don't feel like it. It's one of the most potent pieces of advice, and that is keep going. Just keep going. Don't stop. Even when you feel that you can't do it, trick your mind and do it anyway. Find out what's best to do and stay on the course somehow or other. Don't give it up. So many times people who become successful at something hearken back to a time when they thought that they weren't worth anything, or they could never be good at a particular thing, but they just kept doing it. And time has a way, and mercy has a way of empowering us. Of course, it's Krishna. And when he sees that we're sincere and we just keep trying, even though we feel inept, it's one of the greatest obstacles is to doubt oneself and think, I can't do this. But it's helpful to remember that not only are we souls who are more powerful than we think, we're creating our own futures, we're the architects of whatever's happening to us. We're creating new bodies, going to next lives with so many things we can do. But not only that, Krishna's our best friend. He's with us there all the time, and he always responds to us. In his great wisdom, as I was telling Advait earlier, talking about what might happen in life and this and that, and I was saying, Krishna, it's not original, I heard it from someone else, but I like it. He said, it's like we're playing chess and Krishna's a billion moves ahead of us. So we can trust that he's so benevolent, and he already knows. Vedaham samatitani, bhavishani chabutani, mam tu vena kashana. What does that mean? It means Krishna knows everything. He's a billion moves ahead of us. So the prayer and keep going. And even if you doubt yourself a little bit, just remember that so many forces are there in nature that respond to those who are persistent. Keep going in your devotional practice, even if you don't feel like it, or even if you feel I'm not doing it right or I'm not doing it well, just keep doing it. And it'll go okay. It'll be fine. It'll work out. It really will. And there will be challenges because the human experience is mixed. We have to endure relationships that don't seem like they're going the right way, and people sometimes say things about us. We might hear about it and then feel disturbed in mind, or your body might not work the way you hoped it would, or whatever. But Krishna gives such encouragement in the Bhagavad Gita that you're not part of this world, really. You just have to do the best you can here. And I heard some very encouraging words from Prabhupada the other day. He was talking about Narada Muni, and he quoted the verse, Tyaktva sadharmam charanam bhujam harer bhujan pakvota patet tato yadi yatra kva babhujam abud amusyakim govarta apto bhajatam sudharmata. Which is that Narada says, as far as I'm concerned, if you perfect your swadharma, which means your occupation in life and all the things, the duties you're supposed to do, according to the role you play as a man, woman, child, adult, parent, child, or son, daughter, and all these things, and your occupation in life. You may, if you do that perfectly, he said, but you skip your spiritual practice, he said, what did you gain? You didn't get anything. He said, on the other hand, if somebody skips out on some of their duties in the material world and they take to spiritual life, and then even then they fall down because they weren't really ready for it. It was sentimental to some degree. He said, you didn't lose anything. You didn't lose anything. And Prabhupada said, everyone has some swadharma. He said some people, they work as teachers, some people, they're a parent. He said, some of you just take LSD. This is your swadharma. And he said, so they're all in the same category, just getting by in the material world somehow or other. What we consider good in the material world, it's manudharma. What we consider bad, it's manudharma. It's the dharma of the mind. I'm just speculating that this is good, that is bad. But it's all in the same category. You just have to get by in your material life. But spiritual life, if you give a little heart and soul to your practice and just keep trying, then Krishna will make everything work, materially and spiritually. So then we're going from Mumbai to Kolkata or Kolkata. And there we're going to meet up with all the devotees. Right? We're going to meet up in Kolkata, and we're going to have 3 days of traveling around Kolkata to visit various places. I'm really looking forward to it. It's one of my favorite, it is my favorite place. Prabhupada's from there, and I always have this feeling when I'm in Kolkata that I feel home. Always did. I lived there for a few months once as a brahmachari, and I didn't want to leave. I just love Kolkata, the feeling of it. It's Prabhupada's hometown. So we'll visit his birthplace under the jackfruit tree. It's all fixed up now. And we went everywhere doing Harinam and book distribution. And people, when they saw us coming by, they'd come to their windows and they'd open the windows and they'd buy books through the windows. And everyone appreciates when you do Harinam there. And we saw the school Prabhupada went to when he was a child, when he was your age. He went to a school. Prabhupada did. And then we went to see the deities that he worshipped when he was a child. And the deities where he had his first grain ceremony? Do you remember where you were for your first grain ceremony? Prabhupada had a first grain ceremony. Where were you? In India. You remember where? In your grandma's home? And then we're going to Ottadanga Junction Road, where Srila Bhaktisiddhanta started his ashram, and it was the first time Prabhupada met his spiritual master, at least in this life. It was restored. The building has been restored by some very expert devotees to its original pristine state. And they won an award for the restoration. And they kept as many of the original materials as possible and then reproduced the materials to reconstruct everything from the original formula. So it doesn't look thrown together. It looks as if it's brand new and from a different era all at the same time. My favorite part of that whole place is that the original stairs that Prabhupada walked up to meet his guru for the first time are still there. And they're slightly translucent. They use some kind of treatment so you could see through to the original material and stairs there, and at the same time they're slightly protected. And the feeling of the first time coming into the association of devotees and realizing that this is my home, I replay that in my mind again and again and think how fortunate we are to have that. And there you can replay it as Prabhupada walked up the stairs and he met his Guru Maharaj, who was immediately encouraging him to take up spreading the Krishna consciousness movement. In his first words to him, he said that. And after being in Kolkata, where we'll see the devotees there, the temple won't be far away from where we stay. And we'll go by bus to Mayapur. And in Mayapur, we'll go to various places. For instance, the Yoga Pit, the place where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. And we'll go to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's Samadhi Mandir. And we'll go to his first temple in Mayapur, Gandharvika Giridhari Temple. And then we'll go to Srivasangam. For some reason, the devotees always go crazy there. Don't go to Srivasangam, you'll go crazy. It's just like somebody's garage. And this whole movement started in somebody's garage. You realize that when you go there, it's like, this is like the tiniest little postage stamp place. And it's where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went in the garage with the devotee, said, shut the doors. We're going to do something new here. Like, what are we doing? We're going to chant all night long. And they'd sing, dance, chant. After a year, they opened the door and said, let it wash out into the whole world. And there's that still little place there. And when we go there and the devotees feel ground zero, you can feel it. It comes up into your whole mental system there that you're in the place of transcendence where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started the Sankirtan movement, and we sing Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya, and that's when the devotees go crazy. Because that's how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started the movement. He sang that song. They said, well, how do you do Sankirtan? What should we sing? And he sang that song, Hari Haraya Nama Krishna, and they all started singing it. And then all the devotees went out and started singing, and then it spread all over the world. So we'll go there, and there's several places we'll go in Mayapur. We'll go to Bhaktivinoda Thakur's house. That's another favorite place. And we'll go into Navadvip and we'll see Dhameshwara Mahaprabhu. And then we'll come back here on the, I believe we're coming back on the 10th. So it's a short trip. We'll be here for a month, and then we're going back again for the next yatra, 3 in a row. And that'll be in Jagannath Puri, and then we'll go to Vrindavan. It's all new. Growing because of Shamalangi. She kept asking, can we go to Vrindavan? When are we going to Vrindavan? And And then we couldn't get a place to stay in Mayapur. And I said, how about we go to Vrindavan? And he said, Shyamalungi, you're the one who did this. It was her prayers that got us to Vrindavan. But I'm really looking forward to that because it's just so sublime. All the places that will be in Puri, you can't dive deep enough. It just keeps going deeper and deeper when you go to these places and you're able to have kirtan there. And the other thing is we set up a little community. It's Transcendental Woodstock. We have a Mangalartik together in the mornings, and then we have Guru Puja, we have class together. It's very intimate. And then we have breakfast together, and then we have organized so everyone can do book distribution all day long to their heart's content. Nobody can stop them. And nobody does stop us in India, that's for sure. They're like, wow, everybody takes a book. And we distribute books, lollipops, stickers as we're walking from one place to the next. And we'll go to places like Tota Gopinath, and we'll go to the ocean. We'll go to Haridas Thakur's Samadhi and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's house, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu revealed his transcendental form, Sadbhuj. Then we'll fly to Vrindavan and spend time going to various places there. In the meantime, everyone is here. You have such a great opportunity to just make spiritual advancement. I think it's a good idea. One thing I've been thinking lately is make friends. We really need friendship to survive in this world. And it's a good thing to do, is to extend yourself to people, go outside your comfort zone and try to make friends with other people that come into the community. And just give encouragement. I have this formula I've been thinking about. You want to hear it? Okay. I was trying to make the acronym kind of cool, but I couldn't come up with the perfect, so I think it ended up as simple, optimistic, personal, and encouraging. What does that spell? Soap. See, that's not so cool, but anyway, you can remember it. But I was writing something, and I was thinking, make it simple, optimistic, and encouraging. But I was thinking the other day that it needed another consonant, and I was thinking personal is so important, to be personal. And I felt that by seeing the cows today. You know, the before and after. If you give love to a cow, the cow will love you back, and humans are like that too. We can't survive without love. It's a very cruel world. People are mistreating one another. And there's also there's too much to do. We get so busy that we forget to take time and be personal with people. And so keep things simple. It's not hard, Krishna consciousness. It's not complicated, I should say. It's not complicated. There's simple things you have to do, that's all. Just chant Hare Krishna and read Bhagavatam. And take a little prasadam. Avocado, something. And optimistic. Be optimistic. We have every right to be optimistic because we don't die. And we're in Krishna consciousness. We've been given unlimited gifts. And be personal. Take time to... I heard an interview the other day. This guy from Harvard, he wrote a book with Oprah Winfrey, and he was talking about his studies on happiness. And he said, in a major study with students, young people, he said there's two things that made a huge difference in their state of mind and their optimism in life and their happiness, which is eye contact with others and personal touch. And he said a lot of young people miss personal touch nowadays because when they get together, they're always looking at their phones. And when do you get a chance to see another human face to face? In the suburbs, people lock themselves in their houses, and then they lock themselves in their rooms. And then even when it's time for people to together, they're distracted. So there's not this personal time. I find sometimes Nirkula and I just sit down and talk. It's not to plan something. It's not to, figure something out necessarily. It's just to talk and be personal. Then everything's okay. It can all be worked out. Because we're persons and we have to treat other people personally as well. And then encouraging, because it's a very oppressive world. There's a lot of forces working against us. So it's helpful to give an encouraging word to people as much as possible. A little bit goes a long way. If you think back to your life, to somebody who told you, you can do this, and just gave you a little encouragement, it might have, I could interview everyone, but if you think back, you'll find sometime when someone encouraged you, yeah, you can do that. And it sustained you for maybe your whole life because of a few good words like that. So that's a formula that I've been thinking about and something that we could try. Any thoughts? Everyone's got to go home, take tests, and get back to... So I don't want to keep you too late, but just a couple reflections or realizations that you have. We'll take 4 altogether. Krishna 10, Krishna 9, okay.
Very quick comment, this soap gives us a lot of hope.
There's hope with soap. Yes, Kennedy. And then Akshara Nitai.
Hare Krishna, I really like the story you told us about fighting your mind in order to trick it into letting you go on Sankirtan. And so far in this process, I've realized that the mind in the beginning isn't necessarily helpful, but when you have gotten to the point where you have the experience and your mind has something to latch onto, it starts getting a taste for it. And so having patience for our mind means being able to forgive ourselves for the shortcomings that it points out to us and the fault finding it wants us to do and all the offenses it brings up. But in that sense too, the mind becomes the table at which we play all of our cards, and we see all of our faults and we see where we can improve ourselves. And so it just reminded me that, when you're finally coming to the point where your mind is starting to become that best friend, despite it also being an animal caged in your living room, it starts changing everything. And it makes service so much more fun and interesting and palatable.
Thank you. Reminds me of Krishna's directive in the Bhagavad Gita, which is the mind can be your friend or your worst enemy. And in the Bhagavatam, it's also mentioned that the mind is like a wild animal. Sometimes people get a wild animal as a pet and they think, oh, he's cute. And then the Bhagavatam says, in its very realistic way, they leave the cage open and then the animal comes out and eats everybody. And that can happen too. We have to be careful. Have some parameters for it. Akshara Nitai.
This is from Harinam, right before the Harinam started. A few of us were there and we were setting up and then we heard a loud noise. I turned around and I found 2 people that were in a bit of a violent argument. Violent enough that somebody had already called 911. I think also from our group, one of us also called 911 because we wanted to make sure that the problem got resolved before the Harinam started. And a few minutes later when the police came, they called me for questioning and all that. It's like, what happened? And
they asked you?
Yeah, they asked me. At least I was elected from the group. So I went and just told them that, there was a bit of an argument and I saw a bottle break and some guy was pushing the other guy and...
Hold that closer to your mouth.
Some guy was pushing the other person and that's all I saw. And so they went off and were talking to the other person on the side. And I recognized him. He had like a distinctive pink cap. And a few minutes later, after the police went by, they deemed it as something casual or something that happens with him. He rolled back in front of our booth and just started...
The policeman?
No, the guy with the pink cap who was
I
causing
see.
the violent altercation. So he rolled up in front of our book booth, right next to where the DTs stay, and he started just asking for food. It's like, okay, what is this? And I was like, yeah, it's a cookie. You want one? And he was like, yeah, sure. And what about this one? And he was pointing to the books. And so I thought our goal was Bhagavad Gita, so I was trying to give him the Bhagavad Gita. And he decided that, I don't want that book. And he just grabbed the Nectar of Devotion and walked away. So So I was actually initially a little worried that, before coming to Harinam, that I wouldn't be able to give a book. It's been a while. And I still ended up with that worry because I didn't do anything. The book just went. But yeah, it went to show two reflections came out of that. That one, people are a lot more complicated than they seem, and just being nice to them sometimes can go a long way. That relates with your point that you were mentioning. And the other one was that books sell themselves.
Yeah, if you put them out. If you put them out there. It's so interesting. It reminded me of once when I was in Santa Cruz and I had a table there, and this very snaggletooth, disheveled man who looked disoriented and as if he had been sleeping under something for a long time, showed up, and he stood there in a trance-like state looking at our table that had the books displayed, and I prompted him just to see, is he going to stand here all day like that, or can I help him in some way? And I said, are you familiar? I said, how are you? And he said, I know something about this. And I said, really, what? And then he stood really straight and he said, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Janmanyasa Yatonvayat Itaratash Charte Swabhigna Swarat Tene Brahma Hridaya Adikavaye Huyanti Yat Surayaha Tejavari Mridam Yata. And he chanted the whole first verse of the Bhagavatam. And then I said, where did you learn? And he didn't answer me. He just turned around and walked off into the crowd. And my reflection from that was the far reach of the power of the parampara. We may think it has to go in a certain way. We have to meet the perfect person and they'll get Krishna consciousness in this way and come to... But once Prabhupada said, when there was a campaign to try to stop the Hare Krishna movement because they thought it was brainwashing or something, and Prabhupada said, it's too late. The brainwash books are already out there. And I could just see how one person's campaign to make sure everyone gets this, it goes out and it hits people everywhere. And the fact that they're under the lower modes of nature doesn't matter, because they've already gotten the transcendental part, and that's the part that will remain. The other part is short-lived. It will come and go. And I think of that nectar devotion. He'll come back explaining the different rasas and so forth when he sobers up. Okay, I said 4, and that was 2. Yes. Let's 2 more minutes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. While you are saying encouragement, I really totally agree with you. Thank you for reminding us. Because of encouragement here in ISV, by Shukeshwari Mataji, as she always encourages, it's totally, it helps us, as you said, the life changes. So while I'm new at this Krishna conscious, he asked me to do Bhakti Shastri. I said, I don't know anything. I'm just attending Bhakti Vriksha at that time. I said, I don't know proper English. I cannot understand this. She said, no, that's okay. You can study. Systematic study will help. Then I took her advice and I started Bhakti Shastri. I finished it and I went her with my certificate. And she asked me to do Bhakti Vaibhava. Then she asked me to start Srimad Bhagavatam systematic study. I said, no way, I cannot. No, she said, the life is very short. We don't know what will happen to anyone. Now I'm doing Bhakti Vaibhava because of her encouragement. It helped me a lot, immense benefit. Thank you, Maharaj, for reminding.
Okay, who gets the last word? Got one more. Huh? Okay, Takarani.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much for all your association. And just like, I was really appreciating like how you were encouraging us, like when you went on book distribution and just telling your mind like, oh, we can go for like together. And it just reminded me like once I was in New York and I was like, I really want to go on book distribution. And in that time, there were not so many people living at the Brooklyn Temple. And the Harinam program was separated from the temple. So I was like, I really want to go. And I was the only one in the temple that had the desire to go on book distribution. And I was like, I can do it by myself. Right, Krishna? I can do it. And then I was like, okay. I took a bag. And then I was like, okay, let's go. We can do it. And as soon as I went out and I turned the block to go to take the subway, I was thinking like, oh, maybe I can go to the Harinam. And then I see this road full of people. And I was like, wow, I got this. I can do this. And I was all by myself. And I was like, I think 16 years old or something like that. And I was like, I got this. And then as soon as I was like with my books and just standing on the street and just seeing the flow of the people, like this material world just being so fast and passing by. Like they didn't really look at me or stop. And I was just like, okay, this is harder than I thought. It's not so easy. They will not approach me to get a book. And I was just like in my heart getting discouraged. And I was like, Krishna, I cannot do this. Like really, I can't. And then somehow, like I think Krishna really heard something from my heart. And he sent this gentleman towards me and he's like, what are those? What do you have there? And he was like so interested in the Bhagavad Gita. And then I was like, oh, you can take it and just give a donation from your heart. And then he was like, sure. And he just took it and gave me $50 donation. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. And I was just so scared from that connection and mercy from Krishna because I was feeling really discouraged. And just straight away, he sent somebody. Like without even me looking for him, he just approached me. And then I was like, okay, now I need to run to the Harinam. But it was just very nice. Like now that we are in this amazing month and how you were saying how Prabhupada was encouraging ladies, Matajis to take this service that is not easy, it's quite scary, but it's so blessed by Srila Prabhupada and so many acharyas and by you and so many devotees. So I'm very inspired that maybe tomorrow we will go, right?
Haribol.
Thank you.
Dear Srila Prabhupada, dear Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Shri Shri Panchatattva, Shri Shri Gaurnitai, Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan, Shri Shri Lakshmi Nrsingadev, if you so desire, please give us softness of heart and compassion for others who are suffering in the material world. Please let us be grateful for all the gifts we've been given. And please let us have intimate, loving relationships with all the devotees who are our well-wishers. Thank you for considering our request. Om Tat Sat. Everyone agrees with this prayer in whole or in part. Please unmute and say Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpadruscha.